Brosplay!
Alright, welcome back to the mine. Time to figure out why we're here. You know why we're here, bro?
Well, there's like an area over here that was connected that wasn't normal, that didn't have a thing.
What?
How much clearer could I get?
You could just tell me what the thing is.
Well, the thing is...
Sick tricks, bro.
Noun? Right?
Person, place,
person,
thing.
place, or thing. And or thing. You know, it's great when you can be all three of those things.
A person, a place, and a thing?
Yeah.
You have to be a pretty fucking big person to be a place.
Like, I don't know.
Like Jabba the Hutt.
No, I would say...
Right?
Like,
he's a hut.
if you modified Bender the robot, he could be a person, place, and thing, right? Because he's a robot. So he's
Can
a
he
thing.
really be a person? I know
Absolutely.
I'm being like technologist. I don't know how that works. I'm being...
We haven't invented that prejudice yet. Don't worry about it.
Well, just wait, bro. Wait until the AI doesn't want to be misgendered. Then it'll be real.
I'd rather not. Wait.
Well, see, that's the one thing that's kind of weird for people our age, is that we're gonna be around for decades to come. And in the last 2 decades, many things have happened that I feel like I've just looked at and gone, what the fuck? And that's only in the 2 decades that we've been around for. So what about the next 8?
Yeah. I gotta say, the future is much like this level. It makes me clutch my butthole.
You know what? That is a very good way to put it. I would say the future kind of does the same thing to me.
Dad did say on the podcast he wanted more improv, so there you go. That's it.
One thing that I've been thinking about recently is that the
Fucking grind rail piece of shit. Buttons for grinding is not a good idea.
Yeah,
It
you should
be
just
an
grind.
automatic
Yeah.
thing.
Just grind when you hit
Because
it.
you can ride this thing without grinding it. So like, what the fuck is the difference?
Yeah, I agree with you. There shouldn't really be a button. It should just be when you're on it. But you know how the big debate these days tends to be about cell phones and what they're doing to us and when kids should be allowed to get them, so on and so forth. I think our discussion in our era is going to be about implants.
Oh, dude, like Augs.
Augs, like augmentations?
Augmentation. Yeah, that's the whole thing about Deus Ex.
But I'm almost thinking it's going to start off with a single implant, which will be essentially a cell phone type implant.
Right.
And from there, you're right, augmentations of all sorts will start coming out. Well, they just came out with a contact lens that allows you to see 3 times magnification or something like that.
That'd be crazy. I did just hear about that, yeah. Oh, fuck you. They told me to get back on the jet board.
Did you notice that Daxter was... Oh,
destroy the eggs. I see. That. Why would anyone think that's not intuitive? Climb the mountain to destroy the eggs.
and can I also point out that once the weight was released, suddenly the rope fell?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's still a very cute scene, though. I appreciate that. And if I didn't get on my jet board there, I would have died.
Would have died, yeah. Imagine mission over.
Yeah, well, that's how you cookie the crumble. Oh, I can't. It's not gonna work. But I spent so much time getting to the door, and they didn't have that ready for me.
You had one job.
I expect the door to be ready for me when I get home. That's a traditional domestic abuse joke.
Did you hear what the Baron just said? I heard your domestic abuse joke.
Woo!
Choosing to ignore it. Did you hear what the Baron said?
Mm.
He said, sacrificing is something you should do. Well put, Baron. Well put.
By domestic abuse, I mean the much more broad sense of the word, as in like the just kind of like controlling someone systematically over many decades. I don't mean actual physical abuse. I think we should widen that term.
Yeah, well, when you say abuse, people assume physical, but you never put that word there, right?
Interesting.
Abuse could be any different type.
Absolutely.
And in fact, I would say more people are abused in a non-physical way than are physically abused.
Absolutely.
And I imagine that physical abuse has some obviously really severe, immediate, and horrible consequences, but verbal abuse absolutely has consequences of its own.
And it's also not, and a part of that is because he doesn't treat it seriously.
That is a
It's just like one of those suck it up princess sort of situations. And
well, a really good analogy is something that Joe Rogan made a joke about. He said that he used it for a different example. He used it for his manhood. He said, I live with 3 women. So it's kind of like I have this mountain of marbles, and every day they come and they take like 2 of them. So it's not a big deal, but slowly my mountain is disappearing.
my marbles. He's taking my marbles.
I think it's the same way. When somebody treats you like shit, they're not stealing the whole mountain, so you don't immediately throw up your hands and say, hey, this is wrong. But they take 3 or 4 marbles at a time until eventually, half the mountain's gone, and you start to wonder, like, shit, if I give up now, I won't get the other half of my mountain back.
Yeah, if I can get a little personal for a bit, I experienced a lot of systematic abuse, whether it was intentional or not, at my last job. And I didn't realize how bad it was there until I left and came to this new one, when I didn't go back to get my check for like a month, because I just kept not being okay with even going there, even though they had no more control over me.
Those are usually the moments people want to go back, because
Right.
they get to walk in and be like, hey, how's it going, losers?
That's usually how it goes. But for me, I needed to stay away. And then someone talked to me, Haven Forest.
Dude, that totally sounds like they want you to jizz in the forest.
Bring
Read
the
it
life
again.
seed
Bring life seed. So yeah, you got to go across the platform.
And then to the left?
Yeah. And then Haven Forest is up there at the top, as far as I can tell. That
Is
little...
it?
I thought.
Oh, yeah, that's the water. The purple is the... Oh, no, the blue is the water.
Yeah, the blue... Yeah.
So to the right is what I need to do. Okay. So yeah, and then I was spoken to really poorly one day. Like, just kind of like I was an idiot, and it brought all of it back. And it was just like that. And like maybe a better term would be like, no, it's kind of like all of a sudden all the marbles that were slowly being missing got dropped on my head at once. It's like you drop one marble on me and I'm pissed. You drop a lot of marbles on me and I might need to see a doctor. So like that's kind of what it was like. It reminded me of how important it is for me to be out of a place that makes me feel that way, regardless of who's right and wrong.
Yeah, being treated
Just
properly
how you feel
is so important.
Don't ignore how you feel. Of course, don't also like listen to every single thing you feel. Like everybody's fucking tired. Everybody's doesn't want to be at work. You don't have to tell people about that. But when you have a really serious fucking whatever, man.
Yeah, that guy. Oh my god.
When you have a really serious dread for your job, it's time to change, man.
It's so hard to give that advice though, because
because it might be a really important job to you. You might require the benefits, all that kind of stuff.
And let's just even ignore that. Let's say you and me had infinite reach, and every single person in the world could hear this, and all of them went, "Yeah, fuck that job that I hate."
Right.
Suddenly tomorrow, nothing will be open.
Well, I'm not giving the advice, believing that I am going to be 100% listened to.
No, I completely agree.
Of our tiny audience, I imagine a small portion will even absorb that, and then an even smaller portion will actually go ahead and do it, and I have no answer for that. That's fucking cool, man. I really appreciate games that don't let you avoid taking damage. This is really fun.
Yeah, and the guy with the shield that doesn't have any obvious way to kill him.
Well, you have to wait for him to shoot, but it means you have to jump at the exact fucking time.
Okay. Oh, these are those boxes that... Oh, we didn't have this last time.
That was a huge gamble I took, because I was going to be really mad if it didn't work out.
Yeah, but it worked in the last map, so if it didn't work in this map, I blame Naughty Dog,
Yeah,
not you.
I didn't remember that. I just went into it.
Oh, you were just
being
guessing?
like, fucking do it.
That's funny.
It kind of bugs me that there's a mini-map in some situations and not in others, because you become reliant on it, and then...
It goes away.
It goes away, and maybe that's a commentary. Remember when we used to do commentary jokes?
Oh man, we used to make commentary jokes like every episode.
I don't know.
During Shank? I remember making them all the time during Shank. Maybe I led you astray. I think you actually have to go back to your math.
I don't know. That felt like it was the right direction.
That way?
Or did this come from there? Where the fuck is where is the forest?
I think you have to go up to the right and follow that. Can you move? Like, can you see other areas of the map, or is this fixed?
This is fixed.
Well, that's silly.
Yeah, to the upper right there.
Yeah, I think you got to go up to the right.
Yeah.
Suddenly the direction is gone in this game. What happened? I felt like we knew exactly where we were going.
We probably just hit. I don't know. Maybe it was because they put all the best levels in the beginning. Maybe it's because we remember the first levels because we played them so many times. Maybe I just need a Tylenol and to fucking calm the fuck. Oh, I wasn't expecting that checkpoint to be there.
I appreciate it though. I hope this takes us to the goddamn forest.
Where is the goddamn forest?
I need to bring my seed to the forest.
So mama, let it be. Let me put my seed in your forest, yeah.
Plant the seed, water it good, wait for the plant,
Plant the seed, water it
and
good.
then spread it. Yeah, try that.
I'm glad that we're here. This is not the
Fuck.
frozen forest. This is not the forest haven.
Ah.
This is not your daddy's fucking soundtrack anymore, kids. This ain't Fast and the Furious. This is fucking Fast. This is Furious 7.
This isn't your dad's beer. This isn't. Oh, I hate commercials.
There's a commercial. It's a wheat beer and all I hear is a weak beer. It's just like, this is a weak beer, and I'm like, yeah, fuck that beer.
It must be sold to Americans.
Oh,
shots.
No, if anything, Canadians would drink weak beer.
Actually, not true at all. Actually.
Really? Do you
Yeah,
drink stronger beer?
Did you just do that?
What? This is what I meant to do. I meant to come back here.
No,
Clearly that wasn't where I was supposed
sorry.
to go.
Like, you actually didn't recognize the joke in what you just said. I guess you don't know the song. There's actually a song. I'm pretty sure it's called "We Have Stronger Beer."
Really?
Yeah, and it's legitimately about all the things that we have that are different than theirs, and it's like, yeah, but man, around here, we got stronger beer. And then I think there's even another song that says, we've got, oh, it might be the same song. They say in the CFL, we've got bigger balls, longer fields, and also we have stronger beer.
That's
But
funny. I have never heard that song before. That sounded like I was making a joke.
It really did. Well, American beer is usually like around 3%.
What?
Yeah.
Explains why they drink more.
That's what I'm thinking it's part of.
Because, like, I can easily get 6% from Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Walmart.
I think they have access to strong beer. I just think they prefer the lighter beers, or at least
they
that's
like
what
the taste
that's what they
more.
buy. My bet is that a lot of it comes from colleges and universities. Like, they drink lighter beer so they can drink more volume.
That's really weird because I've always felt like they had more reasons to get way more wasted.
Than we do.
Yeah.
They do.
You know, like
They do,
the
but
fact
binge
that
drinking in the States is a little different.
Oh, that's what it is. They can't do as wicked things because they don't have free healthcare, whereas we get drunk as fuck because it's all good. Wake up in a hospital, cute nurse.
Oh my god. I guess that's one way to look at it.
Healthcare is like probably the biggest one, as far as what I'm talking about by, like, they have reasons to get drunk. I mean, like, what a crazy weight that must be on a family, on a person even, but more so a family. Like, imagine, like, your kid is just a wild one, breaks his arm. It's like, 10 grand, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I never really thought about that. If your kids are out there and hurt themselves.
This is a great example of them doing it right. When I was I got really mad about that whole shanty town over the water scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a great example of the Crimson Guard coming after me because I have control. I have space. I can do what I want. The way that the game's always presented itself so far. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, bro.
You know what I mean?
I just like that you don't have this crazy time pressure and this infinite spawning enemy. You got to get back up there.
Well, there's clearly no, there's no, what's it called for a reason, map.
Oh, because
It's not a confusing mess.
Interesting.
I love this special kick you do with this thing out.
Yeah,
like,
because it's so heavy.
It's clearly, yeah. It's like the people making it, like, looked at it first.
They thought about it.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
They designed it.
What's the purpose of thinking about something before you put it into a game?
It's okay. It's only other people's money and time that you wasted, and your own time, and your own money.
When you mention the American medical system, there's obviously like, yeah, it's a reason to be sad sometimes. But something I often think about is that there is a certain upside to that system we never really talk about here, and that's that when you have someone that does not take care of their body and does nothing to keep themselves healthy, you don't have to pay for them to go to the hospital.
Right. Well, there's also, like, I believe that, like, the public Canadian healthcare system is really overburdened, too, right?
It is tremendously overburdened. You wait much, much longer. You're not guaranteed to get the same quality of physician. So there are definitely some downsides to it. However, one of the biggest problems, even in Canada, is the fact that most things are priced such that they can be discounted to insurance companies. So they'll set a prescription at $30 a pill, knowing that they're going to sell it to the insurance company at $10 a pill. But the only way they can do that is by setting the price at $30, which means if John and Jane taxpayer needs it and doesn't have coverage, they pay full price. And honestly, that's the problem with any real big business. You know, that's one of the reasons the States is so mangled, is because big business there has much more control than big business here.
Yeah. It's also a bigger business.
Much bigger business there, absolutely. Well, when you got 350 million people, it's just so much easier to generate income.
Yep. There's no fucking time display on this. I have no idea how long I'm doing this for, so I don't know how to manage my resources properly.
You know, as,
there we go.
oh, well, that's a good sign.
See you guys. We just gave up. They're like, oh. Hey, is anyone back in this? It's like, keep sending more people. And they're like, there's no more people. They're all dead.
Fine, let them do what they want.
Because one guy? You know, you might want to give your Crimson Guards more than one weapon. Because one guy with 4 weapons is killing all of them.
Yeah, well, they also outfit most of them with stun batons, which, if they're in the city, makes sense because they're there for crowd control. But imagine being sent into a forest against an armed maniac.
He is a maniac.
Yeah.
He's like a charismatic one, too. He's like, yeah!
Well, also, he's massacred dozens, if not hundreds of your friends.
Hundreds, at least.
Hundreds
probably 100 at least
of your friends. And then they send you out against this heavily armed maniac with a glorified cattle prod. That I would be so pissed.
Yeah. Well, it was the longest time UK police officers didn't have guns.
Really?
Yeah, man. They had billy clubs. And I guess the idea was probably a couple ideas. But like I think part of the idea is like if you don't think you're going to encounter a gun as a criminal, you may be less likely to carry one. That's one of my thoughts, but I don't know if that's true.
Well, I think my thought was that if the cop doesn't have a gun, he's less likely to shoot somebody who shouldn't be shot.
Which is kind of a bet against the enforcers of your society.
It is, but my guess it was more a matter of they hadn't gotten to the point of giving them guns. It wasn't like they took them away.
They didn't need them.
Well, because the UK's police has been around for a long time. It's actually part of my theory about why they're so much more cooperative on the roads, because they drove around horse and buggy for so much longer than we did. That they had to be much more respectful on their roads, because if you blew past a horse and buggy, you best believe that guy would let you know. And I bet you there was a lot of shit on their roads. So they were like driving slower and watching out for it.
That's not a bad theory.
My guess is that when they made roads here, cars were already kind of the thing. So inside cities were still like places for people to walk originally.
Do you think I'm just as fast on this thing?
You're a little slower, but you have less obstacles.
It's also more fun. They really didn't refine this jump. Like, look at that. Like, there's several times where I'm fully landing the spin and it's just not doing anything.
Oh, yeah, no, the boost?
Yeah.
No, yeah, they did not do a good job in the slightest with that boost.
Or yeah, you gotta choose.
What is that thing we're going towards? It looks like a fish.
It is a fish. It's Fishy Man.
Oh, he's a fish salesman, okay.
Well, no, it's a beer keg.
Help us twos! Oh my god.
We've got our own problems, which is why we came to this back alley with no other entrances to visit you, to tell you that we have too many things to do. You're calling her to tell her you're at lunch.
Great reference. it suddenly seems very hard to figure out why they put that dialogue in there.
Yeah. It's because they're two different divisions. The people who write it and the people who put it together.
Oh, good point.
But speaking of that, remember how you were talking about those like just girly things? Where it was like grab her from behind and then like
Lift her up.
yeah,
And
Batista bomber.
Yeah.
Just like it's like Hitch is like any man can sweep any woman off her feet. Just fucking kicks them from out, kicks her legs out from under.
Just
her.
does a leg sweep.
It's like, oh, that's not what we meant.
Dude, that's actually so funny. That kind of shock humor almost always gets me.
I love shock humor.
Big fan of it.
The problem with shock humor is that it's about, like, if you're known for it, you kind of have to keep upping the ante, which is a big issue. But as long as you're willing, as long as you just can't go too far a lot, because then it just becomes an expectation, right?
To me, it just if your shtick is to zig and then zag, and you do that all the time, you just have to be really clever about when you're zigging and when you're zagging. Like if people think you're going left, you should be going right. And I've seen people who do it really well, like Tony Hinchcliffe does a lot of shock humor and a lot of pun humor.
Anthony
So for
Jeselnik.
him, I don't know if I know Anthony Jeselnik that well,
He's quite good at it.
really at all.
Misdirection comedy is his thing.
Misdirection, that's what you always call it. I'm a fan of misdirection, actually, in almost anything. In films, in books, I guess also in comedy. Misdirection is the only way that you can keep someone from predicting what's going to happen next. Right? Some form of misdirection. It doesn't always come out the same way, but...
Yeah, they did that in the unit. They had this character appear to be dying, and then another character dies suddenly.
Whoa.
And it was so shocking, because you spend the whole episode kind of accepting this one character, and then it's just like, boom! And you go, what? They're like, Jake from Clutchers and I are both huge fans of the unit, which is really funny that we're also really into a game that's has a very similar...
very like the unit. Yeah.
But like him and I have talked about that moment, and he's like, yeah, that was a pretty brutal moment.
Keeping people guessing is very hard to do these days, because people have seen so much content that you really do have to be either super unique or not necessarily unique, but just unpredictable. And
for me, it's like, I don't need to be shocked anymore. What I need is just for you to execute your ideas well. That's all it has. That's all it is. Like that new I think it's Hillary.
You missed him.
It might be Hilary Swank. There's a new movie I just saw where it was like her family was gunned down in front of her, and now she's gonna become she's got a gun. It's like, and she's like going after the people who got her, who killed her family. It's like, I've seen that before, but if it's good, I don't really care that I've seen it before. Just as long as it's done well, it doesn't even need to have any twists and turns.
that's something I've been saying about the books not the books, all the content.
Oh boy. Oh, that was fucking cool.
Is he gonna follow you still?
Did you see how far he got?
Oh yeah, he got more distance than you did.
That's another fucking...
That's really dumb.
I felt about you.
That was really dumb.
Where is he?
It's getting on.
Did it come back? It came back.
So the books and the movies and the songs that I choose are not necessarily of a certain genre or a certain feeling. What they all have in common is that they're executed well.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them tend to be classics, which is usually a good sign that something was executed well.
Have you heard the term MacGuffin?
MacGuffin?
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
It's the word for like an item or that just means something to the story. So like in Lord of the Rings, the ring is MacGuffin.
Ah.
It's just anything that... It's kind of like when some people say like odds and ends. Just like it's like a broad statement.
Okay.
Yeah, so like MacGuffin is like a hugely important thing to most like fantasy stuff. It's like almost always about
There's an
like,
item, yeah.
a thing.
Well,
or a
Bright was
person.
about a wand, right?
Right.
So that'd be the MacGuffin.
So like everyone's gonna have MacGuffin. That's not what's gonna like change the story and make it so good that people love it. It needs to be a well executed story.
Yeah. What is the MacGuffin? Who owns the MacGuffin? Why is it hard to achieve? Like, those are the things that really matter.
Which is
not
where,
the item
like,
itself.
The term that I use is like content. I said cunt twice in a row accidentally.
Content.
Premise content. It's just like, oh, this fucking guy meets up with a guy who's not like him, and they have to work together. All right.
What if these sharks got pulled up into this tornado?
See, like, that's the content. But is it actually good? Is it actually interesting content? Because I check out shows all the time because of their premise, and then I don't stick around because that's all that the show had.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, it's a gimmick at that point. When the premise does not hold up, it becomes a gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. Don't shoot me with the gun! Where you going, bro?
I'm parking. So
Parking,
I can say
eh?
thank you for joining us. Next time on Brosplay,
Sewer pipes.
more sewer pipes. Yes, use the sewer pipes.